Hey guys, I'm Ivo, and in this video I'll tell you 10 things that you should know when you buy skates. We are here in Dubbel skate shop in Amsterdam. We have a store in Berlin as well. And the best thing you can do when you buy skates is to come by our stores to try the skates on. The first topic we'll discuss is the fit, because skates should fit your foot. Every foot is different. It's kind of like a Cinderella story where you have to just really try on the skate to see if it works with your foot. Some foots are narrow, some foots are wide, some foot are tall, some foot are short, some foot are long. And the sizing indication of like EU 41, 42 or US 7 or US 8, it's just not the best sizing measurement. The only way to know if something works for you is to have it on your foot. So take a fun weekend trip to Amsterdam or to Berlin and just try everything on. That's the best tip, number one, regarding sizing. Skates should feel like a good handshake, like if you have like a really good business meeting and a really good firm handshake. That's how a skate should fit on your foot. It should feel tight here, here, and also your toes should touch the front. If your toes don't touch the front, the skate is too big. Well, these are things that you know once you have it on, of course, and we'll go deeper into that in the end of the video. But if you want to buy skates online, because you cannot take a weekend trip to Amsterdam or Berlin, then I advise you to look at all the reviews that we have of all the different models. There's so many different models on the market, and for each and every one of them, we have a review. And in those reviews, I always mention if the skate is fitting big or small, or if it's a wide skate or a small skate. We also have that information on our web shop, thisissold.com. If you go to the like the specs, the list with like the information, it says if it's true to size or not. Topic number 2 is double sizing. It's a system that I actually invented. I sent a long email to most of the suppliers with the tip of combining the sizes, because how skates work in most of the hardboot is that you have this skate here and you can take out the liner. There's like a 43 liner and a 44, and they use the same plastic mold. So what you want in a skate is you want to have a liner that fills up the entire nose of the skate and just is kind of like molded to the mold. But what brands do is they sometimes put a shorter liner in a skate. And that's really not helpful for anybody. Nobody wants to have a shorter liner in their skate. So I advise the brands to advertise the true advertising sizes, naming that it's like a 43 and a 44 combined. That's a way more honest thing to do. And now a lot of brands, they do this. So for example, this skate is a 44, 45 that I have in my hand. Some FR models, the ones with the Intuition liners, have it. Razors, however, does not advertise it as dual sizing, but they are dual size. So Razors has a 41 and a 42 in the same mold, and the fit and the comfort for the 41 and the 42 is exactly the same, except that the liner is a little bit shorter, but the liner will break in anyway, and the liner will mold to the mold of the shell. So if you buy the 41, you might experience that it's like 1% smaller, but after skating for a while, it will feel like a 42 anyway. So it's really false advertisement. So what we do to counter that false advertisement, we only buy like the biggest liners that fit in each shell. So we will never buy a smaller liner than that fits in the shell. And we list it as a double size anyway. So it's a little bit weird that we have that, but I think that is really the most honest way to offer the skates, because that's how the sizing really works. This is really a 41, 42 skate. And if you say that it's a 41 and a 42, it's kind of a lie. Then there are loads of different types of boots on the market. We specialize in skates that are ready to do some adventure with. And an adventure can be from like a recreational skater wanting to be the best recreational skater to an aggressive skater wanting to be the best aggressive skater. There's all these terms and it's really confusing. So let me explain those terms a little bit. Start off with hockey inline skates. It's a thing, people buy it. But if you just want to be an all-round skater and you just want to skate through the park or skate through the city, I would not advise hockey skates because they have a lot of sideways flex actually. They're made to kind of like stand on your edges really easily. They're made for really sharp turns, but they're not made to really cruise with. So for general use, I would not advise hockey skates. Then there are figure inline skates. Those are also really specific. If you want to do some figure inline skate moves, that's fine, but I would also not recommend them for everyday use. Speed inline skates are also a big trap because people think, speed inline skates, I want to go fast. I don't maybe necessarily want to do some tricks, so I want some speed skates because they go fast, and that's what I would like. It's a trap, don't do it. What you need mostly is control. And the speed inline skates don't offer any control. Maybe if you're like one of the best speed skaters in the world, it's a little bit beneficial if you have a really low boot, because that's what I mean with speed skates. Most inline skates have a tall boot like this, but speed skates have this only a shoe, so it's really low. So it offers no ankle support at all, and you need that ankle support to brake with. More about this in one of the next topics. Okay, then there's aggressive inline skates. I love aggressive skating. I recommend everybody to try aggressive skating. Just take your first step, take it slowly, do what you can, and practice falling techniques first. That's really important. Aggressive skates have a sole plate here on the side. So this is this big wing, and there's a groove here in the middle to grind with. So you use the sole plate here and the groove to grind with. They have small wheels, sometimes only 2 wheels. And I think aggressive skates are only for people that really want to grind. If you want to go in a skate park or if you want to go in a bowl, that's fine to do with just a normal 4x80, 4x90 setup. So you don't need an aggressive skate if you're not grinding. Okay, then there's a couple of other terms and they're really confusing. There's urban skating, there's fitness skating, there's just what I would like to call all-round skating, and there's slalom skating, and there's freestyle skating. And if you just look at hardware, then all these things kinda mean the same thing. Because what you just want, if you're an all-round skater, you just want to have a good supportive boot that enables you to have control over your foot. That's what you want. And you want to have a boot that does that, and the slalom boots are actually the best boots for this. So the slalom boots are the boots that are then used for urban skating. Slalom and freestyle skating are kind of like a term that are a little bit joined. I have a video about the history of the term freestyle. Freestyle basically means flatland with inline skating. So flatland and slalom are of course a little bit the same. And then there's recreational skating and fitness skating. If you look at the skates that are advertised as recreational or fitness skates, they are usually the really bad skates. Avoid skates that are advertised as recreational or fitness skates. I'll dive deeper into that in one of the next topics when we're talking about soft boots. Because if you are a recreational skater, then it's better to recreational skate with a freestyle or a slalom skate. And that's a little bit weird. Then there's the term urban skating, and what's the difference between all-round skating and urban skating? I mean, I live in Amsterdam. Maybe not everybody lives in a city, but an urban skate usually is a skate that you can also do a little bit tricks with. But tricks for me and tricks for you are kind of the same in that a beginner just wants to be the best version of itself, and I also want to be the best version of myself. And the ideal skate for that is the same skate. So there's no skate to do like really complicated tricks and skate to do like really basic trick. It's the same skate. The same skate is the best skate for a total beginner and for an expert skater. So all these terms are really confusing, and I would just focus on getting a good hard boot. And that's the next topic. Topic number 4 is hard boots and soft boots. These are terms which are also a little bit confusing, so let me explain them. Back in the day, all boots were hard boots like this. And then K2 came and K2 branded the K2 soft boot. And then we had a lot of soft boots. Do I have a soft boot? I have one here. This is the Powerslide Swell. And this is even one of the best soft boots on the market. It's kind of like still in the cheap segment though, because you also have like carbon-based soft boots. The thing is with soft boots is that they don't have a liner that you can take out. Remember how I just took out the liner out of that Mesmer skate here? All hard boots have a liner that you can just take out like this. Voila. And they have like a really strong plastic shell. And the soft boots have an integrated liner. You should kind of like forget the terms hard and soft here, because it kind of indicates the softness here. But there's also soft boots that have an integrated liner that are actually really hard. And there are hard boots that have removable liner that are really flexy. So the terms hard and soft are just even more confusing. In general though, all those skates with an integrated liner that are cheap, that are like below 300 euros, they are not worth it. So it's way better to get a 200 euro hard boot than a 300 euro soft boot. For example, this Powerslide Swell might be comfortable, but it just has too much sideways flex. And you can test that like this. If you hold the skate like this and pull on it here, then I can move the top here. You see that? You can just wiggle that around. And you don't want that, because that would mean that if I stand on a skate and if I would bend my foot, that the whole skate will bend. This is a too bendy skate in the sideways flex. We want to have a stiff skate so that if we move our foot, the frame moves along with it. The range of soft boots are from super cheap to super expensive, because on the other end of the integrated liner, skates are the carbon boots. So we have a carbon boot here, like this Seba boot. This one is full carbon, has even a carbon cuff. If I try the same thing, if I hold it here, if I try to move the top, I cannot even move this 1 millimeter. And that means that the skate does not have a mind of its own. If you stand on your skate, the frame is always underneath you. The frame does not have a mind of its own. And if you move your foot, the frame goes right with it. So there's no delay in your movement, because it's super responsive. And that's good for me as an expert skater, but it's also good for maybe if you're a beginner. You also want that. So these are though really expensive. That takes me to topic number 5, and that is the price range. Because these skates, the carbon boots, they can be up to 700 euros. They're the best, they're super good, but maybe for most people the price quality is not really worth it, because you can also get a really good skate just if you get a simple hard boot. For example, here is a basic FR skate. This is the FR1, and this one is 300 euros. And it's not as good maybe as the carbon boots, but it's right up there, and it's less than half the price. So if you want to have the best bang for your buck, just get any hard boot that fits with your foot. And maybe, like if it's a little bit of a cheap hard boot, you can always upgrade the wheels later or put a better liner in it. But as long as the shell and the mounting is solid, you can still upgrade all the other parts like the buckle. So that's kind of like the best option if you just want to have like a safe purchase. What you should never do is to get one of those cheap soft boots. If you get a skate below 150 euros, then you can definitely know that there's something wrong with it. Even below 200 euros, there's probably something that's a little bit off. If you buy skates for less than 100 euros, I can guarantee you that you probably will not like the sport because you don't have control. And in the slim chance that you do like the sport, you'll probably end up buying new skates pretty quickly after that. So you're throwing away money if you don't like the sport, and you're going to throw away money if you do like it. So in both situations, it's actually cheaper to buy an expensive skate and have a big chance that you will like it, and you'll have a better experience, and you're able to keep that skate for longer. So then there's loads of different brands and models on the market, and it's really hard to know which one to choose because there's so many. Again, looking at price range, our advice is to just take like a solid hard boot that's about 200 to 300, maybe 350 euros, something like that. If you're looking in that range, there's already a few less options, so that's good, because that's what we want. We want to make a selection for you so that you actually can make a choice, right? Ideally, you're gonna try those skates on in one of our stores or somewhere. But if you really need to make like a web order, then it's good to know a little bit about these models. And luckily we have reviews about all the skate models that are popular on the market. So check out those reviews and let me quickly run through the models that are popular right now. If you don't want to dive too deep into it, I think as a blank statement, I would just go for the FR brand, because all their skates are solid and good. So if you just get any skate of the FR brand, that's kind of like the shortcut to get a good skate. All right. Okay. So let's just start with the FR brand then. FR has this model. It's called the FR model, which is really confusing because it's the name of the brand and the name of the model. This is the FR1. The FR1 is the highest quality one. Then there's the FR2, which is a little bit cheaper. The FR3, which is even more cheaper. And then there's the FRX, which is the cheapest. The main difference between them is in the mounting. And the FRX, the frame is a little bit more loose. And the FR3, 2, and 1, the frame is attached to the boot way more solid. So if you want to have like bigger wheels, it's good to stay away from the FRX. If you really don't care that much, just want to have a basic good skate, the FRX is fine. Then there's the FR Neo, which is a newer skate. It's a little bit wider, but basically the same thing as all the other FR models. Next up is Rollerblade. Rollerblade has, of course, loads of soft boots. Let me show you one over here. I see one which you should avoid. Like this, they are really squishy. It's terrible. You can just move this like all the way like this. If you stand on it, the skate will go like that automatically. So we're not even going to talk about these models. For kids, they're fine though. If you're like the micro blade for kids are fine. But the models that are really worth it for rollerblade are the Twister, the Cruiser, and the Lightning. Here's an example of the Twister. This is by far the best skate from rollerblade. Cruiser and the Lightning are a little bit wider. So if you have wide feet, then take those ones. If you have normal feet, the Twister will be fine. And I think the Twister is maybe a little bit stiffer. So in general, the Twister is the best out of the three. Then Powerslide is a really big brand. Powerslide has loads of models, also loads of soft boots. The Powerslide Next is really popular as a hard boot from Powerslide. It is really low on the top. Do I have a Powerslide Next here? Here. Here's Powerslide Next, and you can see it here. This part here is really low. I like that because I like the pressure that it gives me here on top, so that it gives me loads of control. Nice thing about it is that it has the Trinity mount, so it's super stiff. The flex, the forward flex is really loose though, so if you like to have a lot of forward flex, then Powerslide Next is great. Powerslide also has a Powerslide Zoom. There's loads of different variants. This is actually the same boot that's used as an aggressive skate as well. So that's interesting. This one has an adapter to mount a Trinity frame on it. So that's interesting. But there's also ones that have a riveted frame. Zoom is a great mold. Most people think it's comfortable. It's not super narrow. It's also flexy, just like the Powerslide Next. So it's loads of forward flex. I like a little bit more stiff skates, so I would not skate the Zoom. But if you like flex, then it's for you. And it's cheap, so that's good. Then there's the Storm, which is a 165mm mount skate and has just I think a more general last. So the shape of the foot is just generic. This is a generic all-around good skate, just like an FR skate. It's basically the same thing. It doesn't really matter that much. All right, this is the Fila NRK model. There's a few different editions. Fila, of course, has a lot of soft boots as well. Don't go for the soft boots. Their hard boots are great though. They're a little bit narrow at the heel, but they're wide at the front, and an overall great skate. Same as the Storm and the FR and the Twisters. What you want is the same as when you go driving with the car. You want to just have a sedan, right? Most people want to have a sedan. They don't want to have a sports car. They don't want to have a tractor. You don't want to have a truck. You want to have a sedan. And this is kind of like the sedan of inline skating. Just a normal generic skate, 4x80 or 4x90mm hard boot. That's kind of like what most people like. Then you see here below a Flying Eagle skate. That's also just a solid sedan type skate. And there's the Micro MT Plus, which is a little bit cheap, so that's nice, but it's also decent. The frame mount is not super solid as like the skates that have a metal plate in there, but MT Plus is also a good skate. So we just ran through all the different like good quality hardwoods on the market. Maybe there's one or two that I missed here, but you get the idea. Now, if you want to dive deeper into any of these models, we have a full review about all of them. And now we're getting to topic 7. That is about the bottom of the skate, the frame and the wheels. How many wheels? How big should the wheels be? We got loads of questions about this. The short answer is stay away from the free wheels. Go for a 4x90. That's the short answer. I think that's for like 95% of the people, that's the right answer as well. Why? I like to make the example of when you try to tackle somebody and you want to kick them at their shins to make them fall. It's kind of hard to do that, right? If somebody's just standing like this, it's kind of hard to tackle them. But if you put them on a crate of beer, all right, then it's a lot easier to tackle them because they're taller, right? So imagine a skate that's like a crate of beer underneath your body. Every little stone or every little thing that's on the road, you'll be able to fall and you'll be able to tremble easily over it. So you don't want to stand short and tall. You actually want to stand low and broad or wide. Okay, so maybe like a pellet. If you're standing on a pellet, try kicking the pellet to tackle somebody. That's impossible, right? So if you can make a skate like a pellet, then you can never fall anymore. And a pellet is really the opposite of those three-wheel skates, because the three-wheel skates are usually really short and really tall. In my opinion, they're one of the worst things that ever happened as like a hardware trend in our sport, because it made a lot of people think like, oh, I don't want to do tricks. I just want to go fast. Big wheels are fast. I'll take the 3 big wheels, so I'll go super fast. And then they have the 3 big wheels. They stand really tall. They're going maybe a little bit faster than that they normally would otherwise do, but they're also a lot less secure on it and a lot less stable. They fall one time and then they quit. So skating is best done in like I think a playful, stable environment where you feel comfortable and solid and grounded. And with that, you really need to be low to the ground. Biggest argument against the 3 wheels. Then there's a couple more, is that the more wheels you have, the better the road is equalized. So imagine just like a road that's really, really bumpy. If you have 5 wheels or 6 wheels, there's always like 1 or 2 wheels touching that in equal surface. If you only have 2 wheels, just to take an extreme, because with aggressive skating, I have a lot of experience with skating only on 2 wheels, you're gonna have like a really bad time on an unequal surface. So the more wheels, the better the road is equalized. And you really notice the difference if you're skating on 4 wheels, that it's just a lot smoother actually than 3 wheels. And this is a little bit counterintuitive, because people think that the big wheels are just super smooth, but in actuality, taking away 1 wheel is not good for the smoothness of the ride. And you can look at that. If you take one of those skates with the 3 big wheels, people only focus on what's inside the wheels. It's like a lot of diameter, but there's also a gap of emptiness here. And you want to have this empty gap here as small as possible. If this gap, this triangle, is really tiny, then your ride is super smooth. So let's see if we have like a skate like this here. You see that the gap is really tiny actually, so this is a lot smoother. Also there's wheelbase, and wheelbase is the distance from the front axle to the back axle. And the wheelbase should kind of relate to the size of your foot. So if you have really small foot, you can have a smaller wheelbase. If you have really big feet, like me, I have size 45, then I would advise a longer wheelbase as well. So for me, 4x90 would be short, I think. And I usually skate on 4x100s. If you have like size 40, then I would say 4x80 is a safe choice, and 4 times 90 is on the big side, but definitely doable. I would still advise a lot of people to get 4 times 90, even if you have a small foot. Because in general, the longer the wheelbase, the more stable you are. And you just don't want to fall. Most people just don't want to fall. I've been skating all my life, and I don't even want to fall. So if I can do something that makes my skate more stable, then I want to do it, okay? And length, the wheelbase is the biggest thing. We just sold one of those 5-wheel skates to like a 70-year-old guy, and that's great. It really surprises me in that what an expert skater needs is kind of like the same as what a grandfather needs. I want to be stable, you want to be stable, we need the same thing. Length is good, but the longer your frame is, the less maneuverability you get. And the way to solve that is with a rocker. So if your outer wheels are a little bit higher and the middle wheels are a little bit lower, then this creates a rockering, and that gives you the maneuverability. So if you want to get the long wheelbase, you can just get a rockering. If you have a flat setup, flat means that all the wheels touch the ground, then flat setups will automatically become a rockering because the outer wheels wear down quicker than the middle wheels. So if you have a flat skate, just skate it for a while and it will become a rockered skate. Next topic is topic 8. And this is about customization. So the good thing, what we were talking about before, is with the frames, is that most of the skates have a detachable frame. You can take it off. It has 2 or 3 bolts. It's really easy to take it off. And there's a whole frame market. We have all the frames that are on the market here at This Is Soul. And you can just get any wheel configuration that you want on your skate. So the most important thing is that you get a good boot, and then you can experiment with the frames. Try those 3-wheel frames. You have to decide for yourself, right? So feel it once. Maybe a friend of you has it and you can try his frame on your boot, or you can just buy it, or try the 5 wheels, try 4 times 80, 4 times 90, 4 times 100, try the rockered frames. There are high-low frames, which means that they have like different wheel sizes in it. There's so much stuff to experiment with. So that's one of the things I want to talk about, is customization of the skate. And the biggest customization that you can do with your skate is changing your frame. And you should play with it. Then there's a couple of other things that you can do to customize your skate. Of course, upgrade the frame, but also upgrade the liner. In any skate is a liner. Like here, I already showed you. This is what a liner is. And usually a skate comes with a stock liner, but you can always throw that one out and put an intuition liner in it. The intuition liners are super stiff, yet comfortable. And if something is in the right shape, it can be hard and still be comfortable. And your performance will be a lot better than if you have like this squishy, sumpy liner which absorbs all your energy and your control. Cool thing about this FR1 is that it has a metal buckle, and that's also one of the differences between the FR skates, that the cheaper ones have a plastic buckle. I always put a metal buckle on my skate because it just closes better, and especially with the power slide neck skates, this buckle, if you really tighten the buckle, so you have to push on it, it even bends. So it's really hard to close it. And then if it's closed, it's really hard to open it. And that has to do also with a couple of things, but also with that buckle is just a little bit bendy. And the metal buckles, they close so much nicer. Then one other thing is laces. If you have waxed laces, the laces can be tightened better. It's nice to handle. We also have a special lacing technique. Check out our YouTube shorts if you want to learn how to lace your skates quicker, tighter, and how to release the laces also easier. So there's one lacing technique that does all of those things. Check it out. Then the next thing you can customize is the insoles. Of course, in the liner is an insole, and they are usually a little bit flimsy. We have the Superfeet insoles here at our store, and they're in this cabinet over here. And the Superfeet insoles are not flimsy, but they're in the right shape of your foot, and they're hard. You cannot bend it because it has a heel cup, and this heel cup holds your foot in the right position, and your foot is the most happy when it's in this position. You want to have happy feet, and a happy foot is one that's in the right position. You'll be able to skate longer on these without having pain on your foot, probably. If you have a generic foot, then the generic super feet will probably be fine for you. I have in my skates a customized insole. With this machine here, we can shape the super feet insoles to your foot. So if you have like especially a high arch or even a low arch, or we just put your foot on this, we vacuum suck a bag around your foot and shape the insole to specifically what you need it to be. And then you'll never skate more comfortable in your life after that. We have a whole video about it with our team rider Odetta. She has a really high foot as well. I think even about most topics that we just discussed today, we have a whole video. So if you want to dive deeper about any of these specific topics that we already discussed today or gonna discuss later, check out our channel. There's a whole world for you. Then most skates come with stock wheels, and stock wheels are not the best wheels. So if you want to upgrade your skate, you can upgrade the wheel quality. And if it's really hard to know what wheel is a good quality. In general, the rollerblade hydrogen wheels are always a safe bet. So if you don't know what to choose, I would choose those. And a good indication, unfortunately, but also logically, is that the more expensive a wheel is, the better it is. So if you buy cheap, you buy cheap. And if you buy expensive, you buy good. And what does good mean? It means it rolls faster, it wears down less quick, it slides more predictable. So either a wheel slides good or it doesn't slide good, but either one it is, you want it to be predictable. And cheap wheels kind of like feel sometimes unpredictable in how they slide. Good wheels don't crack that easily, they don't have flat spots that easily. So everything you want in a wheel that can be good is better if you buy a more expensive wheel. Then let's talk about bearings. The same does not go for bearings, because I think normally any basic cheap bearing is fine. We have a jar of bearings in our stores in Berlin and in Amsterdam. Also in our web shop you can buy really cheap bearings for just €1 a bearing, and they work great. So I would just replace them instead of like buying expensive and maintaining them and do all that work. Topic 9 is trying the skates on. And this is more complicated than you would think, because what a lot of people do is they get skates and they try it on and they make a conclusion immediately of how it works. Let me show you how that goes. If you want to try on skates, actually what you should do as the first thing is take out the liner, if you can, if it's a hard boot, and don't try on the liner without the skate. Never try on the liner without the skate, but try on the skate without the liner. So this gives you actually a really good indication of how the skate will work with your foot. Just shove your toes to the front so that they slightly touch the front, and then you can feel in the back how much room you have. So I can put my finger behind my heel and I can still wiggle it. If you would be able to put like 2 fingers or maybe even 3 fingers behind your heel here, and I mean like at this area, right? Okay, then you have a skate that's way, way, way too big. It's good if you can just put 1 finger and wiggle it a little bit. Then the room is about like 1.5 centimeters. That's perfect. If it's 2 or 3 centimeters, that's too big. If you can barely put your finger behind your heel, then it's probably going to be too tight. Okay, so then because this part of the skate will just mold to the room that's available between your foot and the shell. So that extra space that was just here, that's where this liner will sit. Maybe not at the first session, but after skating it for a while, it will totally become warm, it will become wet, it will move a lot. So this liner will be pulp after a while. It will break in totally. So now I know that this skate is the right size. Then I would advise you to lace the skate to the top. Usually skates come not laced. There are 3 holes in the liner here, and I'm using 2, so I'm skipping the middle one. You can of course do all 3, but it's not really necessary. As long as you lace it to the top, Now I put my foot in it and it feels super tight, okay? Like super tight. So the first thing I want to do actually now is take it off and be like, okay, I'm gonna send this back. But don't, because where does it feel tight? It feels tight here. But if you look at this skate, like everything is loose. How could it be tight anywhere else but here? Because this is the only part that is actually tightened. So it makes total sense that this is the part that feels tight. And a liner just has so much padding, and that's why you should never put on a liner without the skate. A liner has a lot of padding here in the back. And this padding here pushes your foot totally to the front. So normally my heel would be here, but because this is still opened, my foot is pushed totally to the front and my heel would be here. And that means that my toes will be super cramped. It's normal that if you put the skate on for the first time, even if the skate is your size, that it feels way too tight, okay? What you need to do is tighten everything. So you start with the laces, and you tighten it super hard. And what already is happening now is that my foot is gonna be pushed back into the liner, and this relieves stress from my toe. Because now I'm tightening all this, my foot will be pushed back and my toes are gonna be set free. I'm gonna crank the ankle buckle. A lot of the ankle buckles, they have this leverage here that you can whip up and down to close it harder. And here you should open this. Then there's these flaps here. The big flap should go underneath the small flap. Just try both if you don't know, like if you have a different model, and you can just try both. Put this one in all the way and then clank it closed. So now it's already more comfortable than before, but my knee is still above my heel here. And what I need to do is roll my foot back so that my knee is over my toes like this. And in this position, you're gonna think about the size. Never think about the size before. I know it's hard because it takes like 10 minutes probably to put everything on, and maybe you're even like, it's so tight. So how can you not think about it? But really, like, keep your analysis of whether or not it's the right size a little bit postponed. If you can wait until this moment when everything is tight and your knees are over your toe, that's the best. This is the position that you're skating in. So this is also the position that you should think about the size, because really when you're skating, you're always having your knees over your toes. You're always standing like this. And if I feel how this skate is right now, it feels actually perfect. My toes are touching the front and it's tight, but so is everything else. It's tight here, it's tight here, it's tight here. And I don't have any specific pressure points. So that's good. If you do have pressure points, then maybe the skate is not for you. Or you can always go to our store and ask for a boot fitting. It's best to make an appointment online, of course, and announce your visit. If you have like a pressure point here or you have a pressure point on your ankle, we can punch this out and heat mold the skate for you and probably fix it. But if the skate in general is just not your type of skate because you have really wide foot and the skate is really narrow, or you have the really narrow skate and the skate is really wide, then it's best to get another model, of course. But at least then you've tried it in the proper way and you really know. The danger is that if you don't do it like this and you just put the skate on, you let everything open, you think it's the right size because it's immediately comfortable. If you put a skate on and it's immediately comfortable, sorry I have to say it to you, but it's not the right size. Because later when you do close everything and you are going to skate with your knee over your toe, your foot's going to be pushed back, and probably if a skate is instantly comfortable without having to tie the laces and everything, it's probably you'll have one of those 3-finger situations behind your heel. And the skate is going to be way too big. So this is the proper way to test it. Right now I'm sitting on the edge and I'm just rolling my foot to the back. That's one way to test if your knee is over your toe. The other way is just to stand like this and you actually have your foot next to each other. Your weight distribution can be 50-50 on your foot, and then also automatically your knee is over your toe. So if you just kind of like stand like normal on your skates, foot side by side with one skate on, then you automatically have the right position to test it as well. The next challenge is how to take them off. There's a lot of beginners who struggle with this. Of course, this one is easy. It's just a leverage. So you can just unlock this here. Here it says pull. Can you read that? So what I have to do, there's this little slot here. And that's the direction that I need to pull in. So I'm gonna have to pull in that direction, and that releases the buckle. Then this one is super complicated because I always see customers in the store, they like retry to open the leverage, and that actually works against you. So you just have to push this button here. But if I push on it, like it's not a smartphone with the touchscreen. So it's not, if you touch it, nothing happens. You have to really push it. And you have to push at the edge here. You see that? If you push at this side, nothing happens. So you have to kind of like also know where to push. All right, I like to just move this to the bottom. You can actually tilt this like this. And then it's just a matter of the laces. That's easy. One more thing to take into account is that skates break in. I already told you about the liner. It will totally mold to the shape of your foot and the shape of the shell. But old liners have like 30% of the padding of new liners. So all that padding here, this is like centimeters of padding here in the back of the skate, that will disappear. So a skate will never be as tight as you buy it in store. Okay, once you try the skates on for the first time, that's the tightest a skate will ever be. It will only become less tight. Some people think that, oh yeah, but when I'm gonna skate, my foot are swelling. No, the skate padding is shrinking more than that your foot is swelling. So netto, you'll have way more room later, even when you're skating and your foot are swelling, you'll have more and more room. So we have a lot of customers, obviously we have a lot of customers who buy skates and then they think they are too small, but then they come here and we do like a proper fitting with them, and then they end up leaving with the same size anyway. We also have a lot of customers who are coming back after a couple of months of skating, and then they need to buy a smaller size because the skate broke in so much that, and they now realize like how much control you need and how tight it needs. Maybe not everybody knows this in the beginning. Maybe you need to be an experienced skater to understand how tight something needs to be. Maybe for beginners, it's nice if it's not tight. But when you're gonna skate a lot, you're gonna know that you want it tight. It's a whole process. Let's move to number 10, maintenance. And let's go to the bar because I have some old skates there. A lady actually just brought these in and I'm gonna put new wheels in it. You see that the outer wheels are not touching the ground. So this is what I was already saying about rockering. The outer wheels, they wear down quicker and this creates maneuverability. If you want that, just keep the wheels like that. If you wanna go faster, if you wanna have like a bigger stride, then you can rotate the wheels from the outside to the inside. Another thing you see on this skate is that the wheel is worn down in an angle like that. This does not bother me at all, okay? If you don't mind, don't change it. But some people mind, not sure why. And then what you can do is, of course, you can flip the wheels on their spot to counter this, or you can put this wheel on the other side. And then they will become round again. So that's kind of like the wheel maintenance story about like wheel rotations. In short, I don't rotate my wheels at all ever. So no reason maybe for you to do it as well. But when you do it, at least be conscious about it and really do it for the right reasons and not just because somebody tells you that you should. Then there's the maintenance of the bearings. You can buy for hundreds of euros of bearings from us. That's no problem. We have it available. But I'd rather tell you an honest story. And the honest story is that me personally and all my colleagues and all my friends, we just get really cheap bearings and they're fine, okay? It's possible to take out bearings and to clean them, to lubricate them. We sell the cleaning stuff, we sell the lubrication. If you want that, we have it. Please experiment with it once, but it's just so much work that most people, after experimenting with it once, they don't do it another time. You can be the one that wants to burn its own fingers and not going on advice, or you can be the one who follows advice and just gets the cheap bearings. It's your choice. Or maybe it's different and you're gonna like clean your bearings every day. That's up to you, but this is our advice at least. Okay, then the biggest maintenance thing is that if you put a skate on the ground and it makes this sound, then there's something wrong and you need to tighten probably your axles. There's a couple of things that can be wrong, but in general, all of those things are fixed after tightening it. If you ignore this signal, then you might lose a wheel and then you might lose a tooth. So pay good attention to your skate. Your skate is talking to you, and if you ignore it, you're gonna have a bad time. If something is really breaking from your skate that should not break, then you can always contact us. If there are minor things, then we'll fix them. That's no problem. If there's a little bit bigger stuff that we cannot fix, then the warranty will always go through the brand. So we'll contact the brand and probably you'll get a replacement part. Just send us an email and we'll fix it. So there's always warranty on skates, at least for like a year. These are mostly like manufacturing defects. If it's because of wear and tear, there's no warranty on that. So this is bonus topic number 11. I don't know how to sign 11 with my hands, okay? And this is about practice. And this topic is here about what you should know when you buy skates. But if you buy skates, practice comes with that. And the best thing to do when skating is stay within your comfort zone, but play within your comfort zone. If you have that mindset, that goes a long way. And I still do that. I always skate within my comfort zone, all right? But I also always play. And if you're gonna be the one who says, yeah, I don't want to do tricks, I just want to go skate, then probably you're gonna have a bad time because you're gonna encounter difficult situations at a certain moment. There's suddenly like a car coming or a bike coming or like a cat running in front of you. And you want to be the best version of yourself in those stressful moments. And the only way to be the best version of yourself is to play. And what is play? Play is like reenacting hypothetical situations in a hypothetical manner, like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, and just have fun and all that is just building up skill in a fun way for those difficult situations. Because there's like a ton of braking techniques and there's stopping techniques and there's techniques how to deal with bad roads. And if you practice those, then you're ready whenever shit hits the fan. The most important techniques to master are, of course, the stopping and the braking techniques. In general, the biggest mistake for beginners is to have their knees on lock. The advice is to have your knees over your toes at all time, okay? So stay low. That's one of the biggest things. The next thing all beginners should know is you should put your foot in front of each other if you go over like tram tracks or sewage caps or twigs or leaves on the ground, or maybe there's like a Coke bottle on the ground, or maybe there's a curb or a crack in the road or any inequalities of the road. You should always have your foot in front of each other. Not wide, not in a total row, but exactly like this. Another big thing is center edge. So you can stand on your skates like this, or like that. And a lot of beginners, they stand like this when they skate. So focus on being center edge. Play with your outer edges because that's always a challenge. And I think the most important techniques, of course, braking and falling technique, but maybe even more important is falling technique. We have a few videos on this. It's called the proposal technique and the mermaid technique. These two are the most important falling techniques. Practice those because they can also function as a braking technique in emergency situations. So you need to learn skating. You just need to learn. You'll learn through play, like I already said. But another good way to learn is in a group of people. So if you can find a community somewhere around your neighborhood, maybe like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group, or maybe there's like a skate night. In Amsterdam and in Berlin, we have regular skate nights and groups. So just walk into our stores here and we'll hook you up with the community. Otherwise, Google stuff. Yeah, again, Facebook is maybe a good one. But try to meet up with other skaters. And if there's no group, maybe you can start a group. If you don't know how to find a group and you just want to like learn some skills, we also have a skate school. So in Amsterdam, we have our own skate school. And in Berlin, we work together with the skate school over there from Jonathan, berlinliner.com. So hook up with one of the skate schools. If you don't have a skate school in your neighborhood, of course you can take a fun weekend trip to Berlin or Amsterdam and take a lesson here. And then you have a chance to visit our store as well. Maybe you can come say hi to me, give me a high five, and just hang out here because it's always a lot of fun. So those are the 11 tips about things that you need to know when you buy skates. It's a whole lot of information. I hope I could make it a little bit easier for you to make some clear-cut choices, like get a hard boot, get 4x90, pow, 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 pow. So hopefully you have a little bit more clear vision of what you should do now. If you have any more questions, you can always reach out to us, to our customer support. We are available on WhatsApp, Instagram, everywhere you want. And otherwise, we'll just see you here in the store. All right, that's it for now. If you like videos like this, of course, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment if you have any questions as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.